Day 6, lovely day, which is makes a huge difference when you're sleeping in a tent. I filmed some of it. Last night I stayed up well, I didn't stay up, but I just kept going till bed and swept that because I really want the site to look like somebody loves it, and nature loves it, but it'd be nice if it looked like somebody lived here, so I'd just want to get it clean and tidy. So I swept that, and I played a bit of Jenga on my own with my pile of timber, because I stacked it all on top of the stuff that I need today. So I moved the stack over there from here, had a good clear up inside as well, just getting ready. I'm gonna, I don't know, you see, oh you can see, I had a bit of a clear up in there because I'd like to get the flooring on, because that's going to be where the fridge and the washing machine goes. And I sort of prepared my jobs day in. Oh, actually, you know what? I made the roof last night as well, because I'd really just today I've got to get all my stuff, or my family stuff, out of there. I've got to build it, and you know what? I should explain what we're doing today. I'm gonna extend the storage. It panicked me a little bit when I offloaded everything last time, because we've just had one Luton load and it felt pretty full, so I was like, oh man, how am I going to fit everything in there? And that's not even counting the furniture, so I'm going to extend it by 1 unit, and I solved the problem in my head. This is an ingenious solution. I know you're gonna be like, Rob, how did you come up with that? I built some shelves at home. So I'm going to put the shelves around the sides. I'm going to extend this by 1 unit, and going to insulate the floor and everything. So today's job is to get everything out of there, build the new section, finish it all off, get it all back in. So we've got a bit of a busy day because I don't want all our stuff left all over the road. So got up early, got everything ready last night so that I can just hit the road, hit the day running. All right, so I've got most of that out, and it's only 8 o'clock, so that's really great. The reason I stuffed it all in there in the first place is because I had to get back. I had to get the Luton dropped back off because I didn't give myself enough time, so I just lobbed it in there. And then when I was away, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to redo that. But I just thought I'd show you this bag here, because if you're... This is really heavy, I don't know I'm going to be able to drag this out. These are military deployment bags. Don't know if that's what they're actually called, but we had them when we were in the forces, and you can't break them. I'm sure somebody has, but we went on a military surplus, those websites that sell all the military gear. Found them for about 25 quid each, which might sound like a lot, but we bought a bundle because you want to move books. We've got a lot of books or heavy stuff. We don't have anything quite as heavy as books, but if you're moving something heavy, they're perfect. You can load them up heavier than you'd be able to lift, which sucks when you're actually moving them, but they're great for just putting heavy stuff in. You know that the box won't break. Yeah, so I'd recommend them. They are expensive, I suppose, per bag, but you'll use them. They'll last forever. Mine, I've still got my original one here, and it's just never got any damage to it. So yeah, I'd recommend them. Right, it's 8:30, I've got that clear. I am going to have to move the frame, because it's not square. And I've left this board here so that I can see how not square it is. must have done it. Well, you know I did it in a rush. So I'm going to square this out with a hammer, but I need to get the hammer mallet, big mallet, not little hammer. Got to get it out the van, and I want to foam up the bottom because there's a big gap. The insulation goes down to the bottom, but I just want to get a bead of foam around there so that it's bug proof and a bit better air sealed. So I'm going to have to unpack the van now so I can get the stuff. Then we can move and level that. Then we've got some insulation in there that's going there. That insulation is going on the walls. It's all a bit complicated, but I've got it all written down so I don't forget. I've got a super cool neighbour that I met last time. He's the guy who owns those trees I said were awesome next door. He owns that land, and he stopped by to say hi. And I keep catching him going past the front of the site really slowly. I asked him to keep an eye on it because I was a bit nervous about leaving all our stuff here. But I think he's been past at least twice a day. And it's really great to have somebody just keeping an eye on it because it gives me peace of mind. I considered not filming all this because I didn't want people to see what we've got here. Not that it's of any value, it's of value to us. But yeah, it's really nice to see that he's, some people are like, oh yeah, I'll keep an eye on the site. And you're like, no, they won't. But this guy, yeah, he genuinely is doing it. And we've been invited round, Casper, my wife and I, because he's got pygmy goats, which we're going to go and have a look at, mainly for Casper. Don't do the foam like I've just done it. It's good on the outer edges, but it's not really designed to fill huge gaps. So I've just done it because I'm here, I've got nothing else, and I need the work done. The reason I sprayed it all on the floor was to give the floor insulation a bit of bonding so that it stuck properly. And that back corner that I put tons in, that was really low, so I just loaded it over there just to try and give it a bit of strength. And actually, looking at the floor, it's not too bad now. It is still definitely not level, but it's not as unlevel as it was. So I'm fairly pleased with the result, but not the proper way to do it. You should level it first. Let's go and have a look at these reeds though that we left there last time, because I was hoping they'd survive in the bath. These are the ones that we're saving for the grey water reed bed. So let's see what we've got. Okay, well they look alive, but it's only been less than a week, and these look okay as well. So far they're all right. There's a little bit of water management to do on this site. I need to go on the road and dig. Oh my god, look at that. I can't believe it. Like, I'm looking around and it's like I'm looking at a TV or a photo. Like, I'm looking at myself, my watch, my clothes, my stuff, and then I just glance up and I'm like, it's not real. I've got this stream down here. Let's go and have a look. Don't know if you can see it, but it's a small stream that is running just there, and there's a really good place to collect the water. It goes down there to the waterfall, like, it's the big one. But because because there are these nice bits that, like, that's where you need to collect it, is when there's a waterfall like that, because if you don't collect it there, you have to start damming it, and I'm not all that keen on disrupting the water. Here I want to try and keep everything as non-invasive or intrusive, whatever you want to say. Damming it feels like I'm imposing my will on the stream, whereas if I collect it, you know, the native Indians refused to even dig in the ground. They had this turquoise ore that they coveted. It was very valuable to them, and the miners, the American miners, threw it away. It was like waste product from the mines. I don't know what it's called, but it's that turquoise stone, not precious stone, but it's kind of turquoise, little bits of white flecked in it. They found that very precious, but they believed that you shouldn't take anything that wasn't freely given. So they would harvest things on the surface of the earth, but they didn't even believe in, you know, piercing the surface. I'm not really sure how, you know, in practicality how that operated. What did they do with their dead? Perhaps they buried them under stones on the surface. But anyway, I've read somewhere that that's one of their beliefs. And although I'm not willing to adopt that completely, I do believe that the more, he says, standing next to his massive mud pile that he's been, I believe in being as minimal impact as you possibly can. Equally though, I've got to get the job done, haven't we? Lunchtime, which is what we were here for in the first place. And for lunch, we have omelette wrap, which I'm super lucky. If I didn't have a wife like mine, I don't think I'd be able to do anything like this, because I'd be eating pot noodles and probably my see, I can't even think of anything beyond pot noodles, so I'd definitely only be eating pot noodles. This, God, look at it, is a wrap omelette with like bacon and spring onion. It just means that when I finish work, I'm not finished work, but when I'm pausing for a break, I just grab and go. But I mean, it's just like gourmet grab and go. So, going to eat lunch now, and then we're going to get back on with the work that we're cracking on with today. Just finished my lunch, but I realised on reflection I hadn't actually said what the native Indians did with that turquoise stone. So they only picked it up if it was on the surface of the earth, but when the miners discarded it, they went along and collected it because it was waste products for the miners. I don't know what they were mining for. The miners were probably mining for gold. I mean, it was America in that kind of period, but yeah, they refused it so much they wouldn't dig in the ground. But then when the Americans threw them all aside, it was like a gold rush on the surface of the lands. They gathered it all. I think they had 3 precious metals. And the interesting bit is that gold was actually seen as a bad metal. Silver was their precious metal. I think it represented the afterlife. Silver, copper, or brass, I'm not sure. And then there was the turquoise. But I thought it was interesting that they didn't like gold. And the reason they didn't like gold is because the Westerners caused so much violence over the gold that possessing it for a native Indian would cause you so much aggro, possibly death, that they viewed it as a bad metal. They preferred silver. I mean, silver looks more pure, doesn't it? It's nice and shiny and silver. But I thought it was interesting they didn't like gold. If you view it from a native Indian's perspective, like, we value gold because we value gold, don't we? Like, it's valuable because we say it's valuable. What if we valued flint as much? I know it's rare and it's precious, but it's precious because we define it as precious. But if you're a native Indian and you don't have our culture, you're not taught in our ways, and you see this thing, which is gold, that people kill for, you would think it was bad, wouldn't you? You wouldn't. Perhaps they didn't kill people the same way for silver. I feel like that's as precious, perhaps at the time. I know the value is lower, but just shows that you really only, you have to question what you believe because you've discovered it, and what you believe because culture has told you that's what you should believe. It extends much further than you think when you reflect. Can you tell I feel a bit philosophical when I eat, or after I eat? Come on, Rob, stop blabbering. Let's get on with it. While I'm waiting for the foam to dry in the storage barn, I taped up the bottom of this because although I've propped this roof up, the gutter runs off there. Well, there's no gutter and it drips there. So this is still getting a little bit wet. And on the other side of this, I'm going to be putting insulation on the floor and then floorboards, and some of it's wool insulation. And I don't want it soaking underneath. Now, duct tape's not the right thing to be using for this, but masking tape is absolutely not the right thing to be using for this, which is what I've used. So I used duct tape from there to somewhere there, and then I've used masking tape to the end. It's not raining for today, it's not raining for tomorrow, and I just need it quick fixed. This will all eventually be indoor space, so we're not tanking it for the outside permanently. I just want to try and prevent it leaking for the very short term. And although masking tape is the worst possible thing you could use, I don't know if it's the worst possible thing, but it's just wrong. I haven't got any other tape, and all the tape does, it probably does do more, but it's supposed to stop the paint cracking in the edge, so it effectively just bridges the gap that's caused by, you know, the panel gap. So I've used the duct tape and the masking tape just to bridge that gap, and then I've got a quick dot of paint on that whilst we're waiting for this. I just want the foam to set. It has now, but I just wanted to give it time to go off so that I'm not walking on it and, you know, flexing it all whilst it's still drying. I think I'm going to call that video here. I had planned on doing one video for the whole day, but it's going to be a long one. I want to try and keep videos under 10 minutes. So it's got the floor down. What's going to come next is, and the reason I'm splitting the videos, is I'm going to build all the shelves. I'm going to build all the shelves, and it just makes sense to break it now. So I'll see you in 1 minute for me, and whenever you decide to click on the next one for you.